So I just got a lot of information about the car, and we just won an undercover police car. That is crazy. I didn't feel like staying home and just watching the auction, but 4, 3, 2, 1. We won. We won, and it's way underneath my bid. I think we won. Did I win? I haven't won a car from an auction in a while. All right, yeah, I think we won. A 2007 Toyota Yaris, $925. So let's head over there now. No, not now. Whenever we can go pick it up and see if it was a winner. All right, we're back with a cold winter day. It's been a week since the last video where we won the auction. I just gave them a call and they gave me the go-ahead to go pick up the car today. So we're about to load up the truck with everything that we need and anything that we might need to pick up the car and tow it back home. So let's get to it. And of course, you know, I like to bring my jump starter. This is a new one I just got. I highly recommend this one. This is what pretty much all the junkyards are using. Not sponsored. And of course, I just dropped it, but an OBD2 scanner. So now we're all ready to go pick up that car. So let's see what we won. So to be honest with you guys, this was the worst experience that I've had so far trying to just bid on a car through an auction. What you usually do is just message them, ask for an inspection, go in person, and then you know, see it and then bid. There's tons of cars that I was interested in and I asked for an inspection. I called the number that was provided and then I even went in person and all of them either didn't pick up, didn't respond to my message, or when I went in person, they had no idea what I was talking about as far as an auction. But with the lack of description on most of the cars and with the inability to inspect it in person, I just didn't feel super comfortable bidding on some of these $5,000 or $6,000 cars that honestly might have been great deals, but without me being able to inspect them in person, I just felt a little hesitant to try to bid that high. So we stuck around our budget car area. We're gonna go see what we picked up today. It is at a police station, so most of the cars that were up for sale were police cars. So we'll see what we got. Got a little info about the car. They said it does run and drive, which is exciting. I just received the title for it, so we're gonna follow them to the car location. I'm gonna show you guys a few cars that were here that I wanted to bid on, but because of the situation and me not being able to inspect it, I wasn't super comfortable buying it. So let's look through the auction while we wait. So this is one that I was super interested in. It's a 2020 Ford Explorer that I think sold for around $3,000 or $4,000. And the crash damage doesn't look too bad. Obviously, a new headlight, new front bumper, a new fender, maybe a door depending on the alignment. And then I checked here when I got here, but the lower control arm completely broke off. I was super interested in buying this because I just snuck in a quick peek, but I wanted to try to start the engine and see if it at least started. But without hearing it run, I wasn't willing to take a risk on this one. But this could have been a big score for somebody with just one lower control arm, some body panels, but can't take that risk. Some people are picking up cars today already. This was a nice find, a clean Ford Crown Vic Police Interceptor, and the body looks really good overall. Versus this was another one, Ford Crown Vic, that was up for sale, and yeah, it's safe to say this one didn't go too high up on the bid. Maybe for some interior parts or from front end parts or maybe even just the motor. I know you guys love the Vic video, so if you haven't checked that one out, now's your chance. All right, we've been waiting for these guys to get their Ford Explorer up, which looks like they got it enough. Here's mine. Ooh, what a beauty. Jump it, yeah. He's putting the jump pack on for me. I will say this entire interior smells like straight piss, but we will see how she starts up. 104,000 miles. Has an exhaust leak for sure, but it did start up. Do you guys know why you put it up for sale?
This is one of our undercover vehicles.
Oh, cool.
We only use them for a short period of time.
This is very undercover.
Yeah.
I'm happy it runs. I didn't know it ran. I'm excited for this. Little wet spot. Yeah, it just looks like water. All right. She sounds good, besides the exhaust leak. And these tires, Goodyear tires, beautiful. Like, look at those. Once again, this is my first time seeing this car, but I think we got a winner. And one thing that I did notice was this dent on the hood here. Well, that's not terrible. I might even leave it if I can't find a hood. If I can find a hood with the same color, I'll definitely replace it. So I don't know if you guys heard him, but he said this was an undercover cop car. So technically, we just bought a cop car. That's pretty cool. I will say it really stinks in here, like really, really bad. Like way worse than any car that I ever bought. There's definitely mice in here somewhere. So we gotta find the mouse nest that's hiding in here somewhere, somehow. But we got ourselves a cop car. It's pretty cool. Putting it in gear for the first time, and we're moving. Ooh, we got the car and she drives. Haven't shifted her yet, but she drives. Another winner. Oh, we're on a hot streak now. Ain't nothing stopping us. We have the Toyota Yaris all loaded up, getting ready for her maiden voyage. But overall, I think this one's gonna be a winner. Whenever I'm towing a car, there's always just a little bit of worry that I might get into an accident or something bad might happen. But luckily with today's sponsor, it helped to give me a little bit of peace of mind because now we have VIOFO DASHCAM watching over us. Whether you're towing, driving, or parked on the side of the road, VIOFO is watching over you just to make sure that your vehicle is always protected. VIOFO is a dash cam that records every moment of driving, just in case if the event of an accident does happen, you have proof that it wasn't your fault. Not only in the front of your car, but also the back as well. This dash cam is an A329 and it comes with 4K 60 FPS camera quality and uses a Sony chip to allow for HDR quality while preventing overexposure during the nighttime hours. VIOFO also has a very easy to use app, so that way if you want to review footage or share with authorities or insurance, you have that all in the palm of your hand. Downloading those 4K videos, quick and easy. So I run dash cams on pretty much all my vehicles, but none of them compare to the VIOFO A329, especially with the ease of installation, making it nearly plug and play. So if you're looking for a top-of-the-line dash cam for your car to stay protected and have proof in the event of an accident, VIOFO is hooking you guys up with 5% off using the code MACHO329. That's MACHO329. Link will be in the description below. And thank you again, VIOFO, for sponsoring this video. So we're back home with the Toyota Yaris, and now we're gonna take a deeper look and start ordering parts and figuring out what we need for it. So the slowest part about fixing up a car is waiting for the parts. So that's why we want to try to inspect everything now and figure out what we need to get as soon as possible. Starting with the front emblem, we're going to try to find a color matched hood. If we can't find it, unfortunately, it's going to have to stay like this. It's not horrible, but okay, it's pretty bad, but I don't think it's in the budget to buy a used one and then get it repainted. So we need a color match like this silver bluish color. And then I saw these, I don't even know what it's called, but the roof trim, both of them are just like flapping in the wind. So we need both of those sides. It does have a maintenance light on, so we do need to do an oil change. So we need an oil filter. I think a deep cleaning of the interior to get rid of all these stains and get rid of the smell, because that seat is horrible. Oh, and of course, from the car sitting so long you can't see it, but the brakes and rotors are completely shot, so we need new front brakes. I think the rear brakes are drums, so we don't need to really do anything with those. Yep, that looks like a drum brake to me. So I went to go release the hood, and for some reason, this pin to release it is out. But I think I could just reattach it to the back of here. But while I was looking there, I found out the source of our weird rat piss smell, and it is coming from this vent here. I don't know if you can see, but there is so much just buildup of whatever that is. So I'm hoping that this vent will just pop out and we can clean it out, because if not, I think the whole dash has to come out, and that seems like a lot more work than I want to put into it. Oh, speaking of the smell, we should probably check the cabin air filter too. And unfortunately, it looks like it's all the vents. So that vent is clogged. That one is half clogged. I haven't even used the air yet, which I'm happy I didn't. And the cabin air filter is right here. And there isn't one. So that's probably the reason why they got in through all the vents. I think there's supposed to be a cover here too, but I'm not too sure. And we're going to try to revive the battery with the battery charger that I have and hope for the best. But if not, then add a battery to the cost of all of this as well. The guy was rushing me a little bit, so I didn't really get to check fluid. So let's get into that now. A little dirty, but no coolant mixing, which is nice. Dipstick. There is oil on the dipstick and it is up to level. I'm gonna do an oil change anyway. Coolant, it is full and it is the right color. Good, no real sludginess. Not much else to check. This is the base model, so there's not a lot of crazy extra features. Brake fluid is back there, but I could barely see it. But it is full. I can't show you, but it is full. Positive. Negative. We got life back into the car. I don't know why I didn't start that time. It almost did, but tip number 2. The engine struggled to start a little bit, and there's a slight vibration. I don't know if you can see it. So it might have a misfire, but there's no check engine lights at the moment. We'll put the code reader onto it anyway and double check. But I definitely hear an exhaust leak. I just can't pinpoint where. Somewhere in the front. So I'm taking the Yaris on its first test drive, and honestly, it's not driving great. It feels like it just has a lack of power, especially compared to when I was driving it for 3 seconds at the police lot. I have no check engine light yet. Part of the problem might be just the battery is really dead. On the low RPMs, it just stutters really hard, and then at the upper RPMs, it's completely fine. It runs great. So it could have a vacuum leak, especially from maybe one of the rats chewing through one of the lines or something. So still some investigating needs to be done, but I think first step is to charge up the battery. Well, now it's driving a lot better. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the bad gas. This car has been sitting for 4 years now, 5 years, I think. So let's give her the Macho Motors treatment and get this into a good running car again. So we are back here with the Toyota Yaris. It's been a couple weeks since we actually purchased it, but we have it back home. Got it hooked up to a battery charger, and I already ordered tons of parts, so we already got it in. Here is the big stack of parts that we got going into it. I want to start off nice and easy, get the momentum going with a little, I'm dropping everything, with cabin air filter and air filter. Easy peasy. I already checked them and they are super, super dirty. We're pulling out the air filter one-handed and she is a little dirty. There's a few nuts in there, so I'm gonna vacuum this out and put in the new air filter. And there is the air filter box now, looking nice and purty. Old air filter. Did that really just happen? Nice. Brand new one, old one, new one, old one, new one. Let's put it in. Looking pretty good to me. Got the cabin air filter from underneath the car. This is going great so far. Air filter goes in like so. And unfortunately the clips broke on the other side, so we're gonna just have to leave it like that. And I did look it up. This big hole is supposed to be there for some reason. Not really sure why, because then it just kind of seems counterproductive with the cabin air filter. But cabin air filter is just made to protect the blower motor, because once the blower motor gets clogged up with leaves and stuff, you know, then the motor breaks and then you're gonna have to replace this. But luckily ours still work, so we don't have to worry about that part. So now we can just close up this glove box area and consider this part done. That's all done, put back together, looking all pretty like. So now let's move on to the next thing. And before I toss in a ton of money into this thing, it was running pretty good at the auction, but then now when I took it for a test drive earlier, that sounds awful. Like it's not getting any gas or air or something. I'm gonna try to start it again. Started this time, but the first time it didn't want to start. At first I thought it was the battery, and maybe the battery just wasn't charging it, but alternator is working. It's got 14 volts going through it, but you can hear it. It's just misfiring really, really badly. And you can hear it, the car is starting to die, almost as if it's running out of gas. But so let's stop killing the car and figure out the issue. And a flashing check engine light just popped up, which is good because now we can diagnose what the issue is. Cylinder 1 misfire, random multiple misfire, cylinder 3 misfire, cylinder 4 misfire, and at least cylinder 2 is good because this is a 4-cylinder motor. I think what I'm going to start with is take out the mass airflow sensor and then see if it runs any better. Honestly think it might be fuel injectors just because of it having a full tank of gas. It was running pretty good at the auction and then suddenly running really badly. So I think maybe the old fuel clogged up the injectors and now it is toasted. But that's last on the list. So we start with easiest first and work our way to harder things. So start with the mass airflow sensor and go from there. So I genuinely doubt that this is going to work, but I have the mass airflow sensor unhooked. I'm going to start up the car. That was a really rough start, but now it's running a little bit better. And the car just died. Well, we don't need to pull out our scanner. So next easiest step is to start pulling out spark plugs and seeing if that gives us any more information. Now, disconnect all the ignition coils. There's some of the same stuff that we found inside the airbox here, so I'm going to just vacuum this up and then start taking out the spark plug. Now we're going to go ahead and start taking out these spark plugs. This smells like just straight gas and bad gas too. So here are all the spark plugs. They could even be original because these are the Denso Iridium spark plugs, which the Toyota manufacturer used. But I don't know if you can see, half of the spark plug has that like black tip to it, and then the other half has a white tip. So I'm not really sure what that means. I'm going to get new spark plugs anyway because here that little rust belt that starts to form when you have really, really old spark plugs. So these very well could be original to the car. I'm not super convinced that this is the problem with the engine, but I'm going to order new spark plugs anyway and hope for the best. And also, I tried my best to check the wiring on all of them and make sure they're good. It does not appear that any mice got to them from what I can tell. Even the injectors as well. Does not look like any mice got to them. It's the next day and we already got our brand new NGK spark plugs. We're about to pop them in and see if the motor runs any better. If it does, then we can reinvest a little bit more into this car and make it worth it. But I gotta go into the mindset that this may be trash and maybe unsavable. Hopefully this works, and if it doesn't, then we'll move on to whatever the next thing is to check. Okay, all the new spark plugs are in. We're now gonna go ahead and hook up the spark plug wires. Bolt it down. I also left the battery charging overnight, and it's saying it's full and that the battery is good. Hopefully she starts up better and without a jump pack. So, moment of truth with the new spark plugs. It sounds like a fuel-related issue to me. Let me see if I hear the fuel pump. I don't hear it turning on at all. My conclusion is, since the fuel was so bad, it clogged up the fuel pump, and now the fuel pump just completely died because it was running good at the auction, and now all of a sudden it's not running well at all. So I'm pretty sure it's the fuel pump. I'm going to check the fuses first, and then if the fuses are good, we're going to go in for the fuel pump and see if that's the issue. Before you guys say, all right, here he goes again, throwing random parts at the car, I did do a little bit of diagnostic, all right? I called up my sensei, had him help me walk it through. So we did check for spark, and the spark seemed all good across all four cylinders, so that we know the ignition coils aren't bad, because I don't want to go through that same lesson we did with the BMW. I checked fuel again because now, here, I'll do it again for you guys. so that way you could see. I'm gonna start up the car. It's gonna start terribly. It's starting to die out. I sprayed some brake cleaner in there and now it's running a lot better. I'm sorry, it's just hard to show with one hand, but now it's running good. So I'm pretty sure it's just bad fuel, because if it's the fuel pump, why would it run for a few seconds and then die? So we are pretty certain that it is just old and bad fuels. So I think the easiest way to tackle this is to just get to the fuel pump, drain all the fuel that way, put in new gas, and hopefully it runs beautifully again. And then we could get into fixing some of the cosmetic stuff. We got a pretty good amount of room back here. The fuel pump is right underneath these seats. So I already have this unbolted, so we're gonna just lift this out of here. And then this cover right here is the fuel pump cover. So once we pop open this, we'll have access to the fuel pump and fuel tank. Come on, they don't call me macho for nothing. And there is the fuel pump. First things first, we want to make sure that we don't break anything. Oh, and I think we got to release the pressure from the fuel tank first. All right, let me look up how to remove all these and then I'll get back to you guys. All right, so we have everything pretty much unplugged. I have this fuel cap removal tool from the whole BMW fuel situation. So it's very easy. So you just put this on two ends of the fuel and then rotate it so that the cap can come off. So I'm gonna remove the cap, look at the fuel, and I can already smell it. It does not smell great. And now with the fuel pump gone, we can get our first look at the fuel tank. So typically fuel is like a clear color. Right now that's an orangey color. So happy we're doing this. Gonna take this all out and hopefully the car will run well after we take everything out. But fuel ain't looking that great or smelling great either. So it turns out my fluid extractor is broken. So I called and going through the whole warranty process. But for now, I bought this super cheap one. So that way we can at least get the ball rolling for the Toyota Yaris. I just really want to get this done. So we are going to put this tube in there. This other tube is going into the fuel tank. I'm pumping. Fluid is extracting. Oh, this is terrible. I don't know why I got this one. This is going to take forever. I got a lot of squeezing to do, so let me get back to you guys. So unfortunately that pump that I had, it worked, but it's just terrible. Honestly, it gets like a drop of fluid every time I pump it, and I should have known it was $6, so whatever. I went out, bought this one, balled out a little bit. This one was $7, so we'll see if this works, and it's battery powered. All right, moment of truth. I have the new fluid pump, battery powered. Let's see if it works. Oh, this is so much easier. Look at that. Can literally see the pump just pumping it away. This thing, I was squeezing it one by one, getting a crazy forearm working out. But at least it evened out my forearms. Now my left is catching up to the right. Literally not doing anything besides just press the button. Best $7 ever. Catch you guys when I got the tank fully empty. So unfortunately the tank was about 3/4 full. So far we filled up all of these, and these are all my gas cans that I have. And I don't have any more, so I'm gonna have to empty one of these into a lawnmower or something and keep filling away. So still kicking away at it. So we are back the next day, and last night I was just going to town at emptying the fuel tank. Luckily that new fluid extractor that I got really worked well, and here's what we're left with. Here's a look inside the tank. Pretty good overall, I do say so myself. And we're just gonna go in with this rag and finish cleaning it up. All right, tank is cleared out as best as I can. I got some fresh gas going in. This is completely unnecessary, but I don't know. I feel like you kind of have to when you have this opportunity. Look at that fresh fuel going in. And you can already see the color difference compared to before. Okay, that is pretty good. All right, I'm gonna button this all up and hopefully we have a good running car. So I got everything pretty much back together, loosely at least, so that way if there is a fuel leak we can tell. Now is the moment of truth. Was this all for nothing? Please start, sound good, run good. Let's hear it. And of course the battery's dead. Oh, almost started. Of course there's still gonna be some old gas in the line that we kinda either have to blow out or kind of just burn it out. So that's what I'm trying to do now. Good part is no fuel leaks. So we know the fuel can all be buttoned up pretty much, but it's still running rough. I think we need to take it for a test driving, but it's running. It wasn't running like this before, so. And it's idling. Let's go. I think we might have fixed it. I think all the new gas finally got up to it. I think we fixed it. Let's go. Let's go, baby. All right, let me show you. And here is, for the first time since the auction, an idling engine. Let's go, baby. Ooh, it sounds so good now. I'm sure it still needs to run a little bit, but new spark plugs, fresh fuel, new air filter, which isn't even connected right now, but she sounds great. She's running great. Now we can give it a little bit more love once we take it for a test drive and see how it goes. But I ain't gonna lie to you, I got a little scared when it wasn't running. I thought this might be our first official loss, but sounds good, it's running good, so let's take it for a test drive. I will say it's still misfiring slightly. I think it needs new gas. We have a really bad exhaust leak that I completely forgot about, but I'm now slowly remembering. Luckily the car no longer stinks, it just smells like straight up gas in here. But we still have the rat nests that I'm sure the smell will come back eventually. This was a huge step in the right direction because now we know the car is worth fixing up. Because if the engine was suddenly bad for whatever reason, then you know it's better to just junk it for like $500, $600 and then take my loss there. So I'm gonna start heading back home and looking for a hood for it, because there is one for less than 150 bucks. I'll replace it. If not, 200 or over for a car like this for a hood is just a little ridiculous. And it needs to be the same color, because that plus paint just wouldn't make it worth it to really repair. I think that's gonna end it off on this video, especially now that we know it's a little bit more worth fixing and the motor's been pretty healthy. I've been driving it around for over a week now with no check engine light at all, no lack of power, no hiccups, no poor starting. So it has been running really good now. So I'm really happy with it. So in the next video, we're gonna address some of the other issues that it has, like the front brakes and some of the cosmetic issues that we mentioned. So stick around for that one. I really appreciate you guys watching till the end of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in another Macho Motor video. Peace.